Anyway, I hope I got that first part. You know what I mean? So back on the scene. So the Brahma Madhava Sampradaya goes back 151 trillion years to the dawn of this material universe. There's a line of spiritual masters that can be traced, and there's no doubt in it because Krishna said, anytime the chain of disciplic succession is broken, I myself reappear. I appear on the scene to annihilate the miscreants, to protect the devotees, to deliver the devotees, to bring joy to the devotees, and he reestablishes the spiritual line. He's done it more than once throughout history. 120 million years ago, he appeared to the god of the sun. So why am I telling you this about this connection? Simply, the Brahma Madhava Sampradaya generally reads a book called Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the ripened fruit of the Vedas. In this book, it will explain to you who Ma'at is, what her race of beings, what star system they come from. When you see a being with wings on his arms, they're usually from a planet, a Kinnara planet, Kinnara, Kinnara. They come from Kinnara. So when you see Garuda, beings like that, Garuda is the carrier of Vishnu. He can go faster than the speed of thought between the material universe and the spiritual universe. Garuda. So all of these beings with wings on their arm, what we're trying to tell you is that the next level of your information, dear Nuwaupian brothers and sisters, is actually in the Vedas, specifically the path endorsed by the Krishna consciousness movement, as taught in the West by Srila Prabhupada. So this is very serious. This is the graduation of everything that you learned under Dr. York. Now y'all say, oh, you messing with that Indian stuff, the Hindu stuff. Actually, it's not Hinduism. If you ask a Hindu about Hare Krishna, they'll say it's something totally different. Because our lineage goes back to the spiritual world, whereas the Hindu world, their lineage goes back to the demigods. The same misfortune falls upon my brothers and sisters in Yoruba, my brothers and sisters from Malachi, York. If we stop at the level of demigods, you're stopping at the heights of material. That's just material perfection. And some of them ain't even so perfect because the demigods are very wishy-washy. They sometimey. And if you do their rituals wrong, you could get a counteraction. And it's not nice. So what we say is just go straight, pierce through the material plane through the power of devotion, because that's what the Brahma Madhava Sampradaya is about devotion. You pierce through the material plane, and what do? Your devoted flower, that little creeper of devotional service, arrives in the spiritual plane where it blooms and blossoms, and that's where it catches the attention of Radha and Krishna. So what we're saying is that although Dr. York had 76 trillion years of knowledge, that's why he knew more than those European scholars. He knew more than the African systems of thought. He knew more than the Native Americans because his branch goes far back. But it only goes back to about half of the life of the universe. Do you want the half-life of the atom? Now remember, a half-life represents radioactivity. That's a form of decay. So you don't want to go 180 degrees, you want to go the full circle, which takes you back. You break the bridge and you go all the way back to the spiritual, or should I say the material origins of this universe. One other good thing about the Srimad Bhagavatam is that it also has information on the personal status of the Supreme Lord. You see, Dr. York was powerful. He's good for breaking the spell of Kungu or Leviathan. But he only taught us about Allah in his energy form, that Allah is a living, breathing, feeling person, and he's everything. He's he's all encompassing, he's everywhere. Fine, that's the impersonal aspect of Allah. But what about the personal aspect? Do you know that God has a form? Yeah, he has a form. If you don't have buttocks, then there's no need to sit on the throne. So when the Christians say that God is sitting on the throne and the Muslims say that God's sitting on the throne, then he must have a body. It's just not a physical, material body like ours. And yes, the spiritual body has form, shape, texture, color, moods, activities, desires. So Malachi York is good for taking us to the heights of material perfection. He's good for taking us to the heights of impersonalism. He could teach you anything about the impersonal form of God. But once you start messing with them Hare Krishnas, you start finding out more about the personal form of God. And that's what we're here to do. Actually, we're here, our teacher's teacher is here to smash impersonalism, because impersonalism is a calamity. You got Buddhists, it has the Buddhists running around looking for nirvana. Nirvana is not the highest state of existence. Nirvana is just the light that shines off of the body of the supreme Brahman. Not Brahma, the originator of the universe, but the supreme Brahman is Krishna. And if you're approaching the supreme Brahman, the first level you'll see is the effulgent glare coming off of his body. Did you know that even Krishna's toenails emit light? Matter of fact, in the spiritual world, when Krishna was here on the earth, his toenails was emitting light. Light was coming out of his fingernails and his toenails. You can look it up. But check it, in the spiritual world, all of the planets and all of the living entities are self-effulgent. Imagine, if you can, one man glowing with the aura of more than 100 million suns. This is the reality. So here in the material plane, we have lost so much. So I went from one lineage that stopped at 76 trillion years, and in 1993 I started my own journey, and then Krishna found me in 2010. And boom, when he called me home, all I did was reconnect it. So I'm inviting the Nuwaupians to at least take an honest look, not at the Hindu system, not at the Vedic system, but transcendental information as taught by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Because we have to understand that in these days and times, our only real enemy is lust, anger, and greed. And the whole science of sin is that sin is caused by ignorance. When a man, woman, and child is ignorant to their true position, which is a servant of the Supreme Lord, eternal servitor, when you're ignorant, then all forms of sin follow that, and from sin comes more suffering. So I just wanted to share with you. Look at Srimad Bhagavatam, Google Krishna consciousness. It is the completion of your studies. Because like I said, the Nubian Islamic Hebrew phase was just to lead us to the doorstep of Egypt. So we talking about the heights of material perfection. But then when you want to get that spiritual perfection, you have to leave all bodily concepts behind. Your European history, your black history, your Indian history, who cares? The whole body is a jail suit anyway. So we want to look for our spiritual lineage. Srimad Bhagavatam not only contains the knowledge of this material universe, but it has the information of the universes that came before this universe incarnated. So when you're talking about beings like Sekhmet, the lady of the gates of time, yeah, because she was here, Shakti energy was here even before the material universe manifested. And what we're doing is connecting you to these lineages of spiritual teachers in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It tells you about previous universes. It tells you about people who were born in those previous universes who came through into this universe, like Narada Muni, and definitely Narada Muni. He's definitely one. All right? And it also talks about alternate dimensions. So what I'm telling you is that the ripened fruit of everything you have studied is here. I invite you just to take a look. We're not here to convert nobody. We just want to influence the intelligent class of people, because it's the intelligent class of people that's going to take this planet forward. Look at your world leaders now. They're nothing but Illuminati Rakshasas. Rakshasa is the Sanskrit word for reptilians. These are reptilian nagas that eat their own kids. So what will they do to your kids? You know what I'm saying? And we're the only one who stand in diametric opposition to the teaching of the Illuminati. Nobody else can't defeat the Illuminati. Only we can. And we ain't going to do it with a sword. We're going to do it with the holy names of the Lord. Because that's what Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did when he came 500 years ago. He smashed all forms of impersonalism. God is a person, and he could even be recognized through the sound vibration of his name. When you associate with the name of the Lord, you associate directly with the Lord himself, which is why back in Islam they told you, Dhikr Allah, remember Allah, remember Allah. And you had your prayer beads, and you put them down. For what? So you got to pick them back up. But now you're going to sing a new song. That new song goes, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Peace.